everybody. Welcome back to Fanfic C. It is me, Magical Kitty Glen with an X.
And I'm Corlex. Welcome back, everybody.
And today we're going to talk about some more fanfiction. I've been scrolling the... What the...
Whoa.
What the heck? What am I talking about?
Wait a minute, that's not our podcast.
That's not our show.
Lycos, what happened?
Dude, something swept in here and whoa, that was weird.
I feel influenced by an egg field.
Welcome back to the LoreX podcast, everybody. And today we're talking about something that I've read a little bit about and kind of wanted to do an episode about it because I think we briefly touched up on the Otherworld comedy. I think we brought it up in the Infinite episode, and then we brought it up in another episode, and I'm blanking on that other episode.
I feel like it's likely that we've stumbled across this just a couple times because we talk about a number of different characters, and at least in the Otherworld comedy series, we see those characters in a completely different light.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, there's a lot more Otherworlds than I thought there was. I thought it was only Infinite X Shadow being idol girls, but there's more.
Oh yeah, it's for an entire calendar. What I didn't know was that there's actually a more recent one. The one we're going to be primarily talking about is the one for 2023, but there is one for 2024 that has some really cool art, and if you want to, check it out. But we're going to be mainly covering 2023. These were basically images created for a calendar for 2023. They all have these corresponding stories written by Itaro Toyota. And basically it is just Sonic characters who were voted on for like these pairings in very unusual, very weird situations. And then they have a overarching story that's kind of episodic at first, but then they start kind of getting tied together into a cohesive narrative.
All I know is this, Lycos.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with a confession of love, and it ends with Super Eggman. And I'm intrigued to see how we get from one to the other, and how we don't devolve into potentially a parody podcast known as Fanfic C.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is basically fan fiction, because even though this stuff is Sonic Channel media, it is non-canon. It is the only non-canon stuff on the Sonic Channel media. And also, a little bit of a disclaimer that we have to say is these were only released in Japanese, so these are not like official translations for these stories. Some dude online was paid to translate these stories. Yeah, the guy who translated this is Uncle Windy. The main title on the site is Uncle Windy's Brownie Hideout. So thank you, Uncle Windy. We appreciate your translating stuff. And also thank you to the person who asked you to translate this stuff. Our first Otherworld comedy, The Avatar from Sonic Forces, facing down an egg pond, pointing their Wispin right at them, ready to destroy them, but a mysterious fog encases both of them. Next thing we know, the Avatar and the Egg Pawn are now in like Japanese like high school uniforms, and the Avatar is now proposing to the Egg Pawn with a bouquet of flowers.
Classic confession of love.
Of course, absolute classic. I hope the Egg Pawn said yes.
I really feel like this image in my head of two people pointing weapons at each other and then immediately, oh, sorry, it's a love confession. I feel like I've seen this somewhere else before, but I cannot for the life of me remember it.
I feel like that's kind of like a gag if you have like a chaotic character who can transform things, where it's like, oh, you're pointing a gun at me. Oh, now it's a bouquet of flowers. Oh, don't mind if I do. Or, oh, it's now flopping a live fish.
That's very, it is very tropey when you put it that way. I know we're probably going to devolve if we go too far down this rabbit hole, but a piece of me wonders that if the other worlds are little pockets of Phantom Ruby energy, changing reality, how far do those other worlds go? Like, is it really what we see just on the snapshot of a calendar image, or does it extend beyond there? For example, if the Avatar is pointing a weapon at the Egg Pawn, and the Egg Pawn is the love interest, and the Avatar is the suitor, what other characters were pointing weaponry at each other that caused it to become a bit of a proposal in a way? How many different newly established couples were created in this very moment? And then I guess my other question is, do the memories of the people in the other worlds fade? Like, do they remember that this happened? happened? Do they have to keep this trauma with them?
For keeping the memories, for most of them, no, they don't have their memories from before they were in this other world, which we'll actually get to that in the narrative.
I love this idea that, yeah, maybe an egg pawn has memories. Maybe the avatar forgets, but the egg pawn doesn't after the fact. And as the egg pawn falls back in line after the end of the other worlds, it sits there staring up into space, receiving its programmatic orders while the song "In Another Life" plays in the background as he pictures the avatar in its mind memory. It's tragic.
The memories remain, so maybe after the things resolve, the egg pawn goes a little rogue to try and have their romantic rendezvous with the avatar at like a little cafe with like the classic like milkshake with like the two straws that make a heart. Even though this egg pawn doesn't have a mouth.
That's the irony. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. Our first one is one we actually talked about, where Shadow the Hedgehog and Infinite are K-pop stars. Basically, they have a performance. Shadow is railing into Infinite because it's like, oh, you're pathetic. You weren't perfect out there. Infinite's just like, bruh, really? Like, you think you're all that? And Shadow's like, yeah, I am. They don't have any reconciliation. They basically like break off their duo at that point, and Infinite goes off to do his thing. This one was really short, and it's kind of funny because their concert venue, we learn, was originally an Eggman base.
Nice.
And also for design stuff here, Shadow's K-pop outfit has wings. And remember, this was before we got Shadow Generations, where he got the Doom wings. We don't know if this was like foreshadowing or if this was just a coincidence.
I'm sorry, did you just say foreshadowing? It's a good one.
Also, the Rockstar outfit of Shadow was added to Sonic Speed Simulator later.
Do you think that if Infinite and Shadow had like a song that stands out? Because I know for K-pop Demon Hunters that came out recently, like Golden is like one of the top songs. I actually just recently started listening to it. What do you think theirs would be?
Actually, my first thought, because I know people joked about it when I made the Shadow K-pop joke, when he was getting dragged out by Omega in that one skit we did. Some people were like, no, Soda Pop's actually good, no! But yeah, I could see them performing either like some of the other stuff from the K-pop Demon Hunters, so like Soda Pop, or even if they wanted to go the edge route, they would do Your Idol. That one's edgy and it slaps.
K-pop Chaos Hunters.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Where is that fourth Chaos Emerald? The second story is called The Melancholy of a Magical Princess, featuring Amy and Blaze. And basically, Blaze is a magical girl superhero.
I mean, she's got a magical girl transformation, okay?
She's been stopping crime and like promoting like good, and she goes to Amy for fortune telling because she's starting to get disheartened in her cause. Basically, like, I'm constantly saving people from like evil, but evil keeps sprouting up. What can I do? And Amy's got a weird way of doing fortune telling here. Basically, she takes her hammer and cracks an egg with it, and the cracks are how she reads your fortune. And so basically, she tells Blaze where it's like, hey, like, you're kind of picturing that you're fighting this evil by yourself, but what you're doing is you're promoting good in the people you save, so those people will promote good in their lives to other people, and give her this perspective of like turning the world essentially into like a giant clothesline. Like a clothesline by itself won't do much, like a small one, but like a big one can dry anything.
I know you mean clothesline, like, you know, the thing that you dry clothes on, right? But I pictured a long line of avatars all having their arms out, constantly just running and consistently clotheslining the enemy, like by their neck. And then Blaze being like, I completely understand what I must do. And she spreads both of her arms out, T-pose style, and bolts into the crowd. And then I guess does her Super Blaze magical girl transformation, and then does it faster.
And so Blaze starts feeling better about it. And Amy's like, all right, cool. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go shopping and get you some new threads. That'll make you feel better because you wanted to wear some of that frilly stuff. Don't lie to me. So she takes the actually cooked part of the egg, because the egg she cracked was a hard-boiled egg, shoves it in Blaze's mouth, and it ends with them going off to go shopping.
Fortune teller Amy, if you're out there somewhere, I need to know, what are the catastrophic implications of cracking open the egg and it's not cooked? Or what if it's rotten? Or what if it's green? I feel like there is a lot of nuance to the fortune-telling mechanics with reading the eggshells, so to speak, and I'm much more interested in that level of clairvoyance.
How her method works, like, it has to be like a hard-boiled egg.
What if it isn't Lycos?
Also, yeah, she put the egg in Blaze's mouth because she didn't want it to go to waste.
That's fair, but why not? Why couldn't she have just eaten the egg?
Well, I mean, I don't know. She wanted to chat and drag her friend out to go shopping, so feed it to your friend. And this one is where we get, like, it's a little weird as well. Basically, like, the scene around them changes. Like, it goes from, like, Blaze being outside to, like, next thing she knows, she's in Amy's fortune-telling mansion or house or whatever it was. We start getting the vibe that something weird's going on here. Something weird.
Yeah, Blaze doesn't catch on to the fact that, well, she's actually just in a room and every single wall is a green screen.
Our third act. This is a fulfilling paradise.
Ooh.
I love the image here. This is so cute.
It's our boy and our girl and the little ones.
The story here is Takal and Chaos have this restaurant. I believe it's literally called the Chaos Restaurant.
Chaos Diner.
They make pizza and they have a bunch of chow as their primary customers. They also try to defuse the conflict between the chow and the Echidna tribes. Basically, they're like, oh, pizza will unite them because pizza is good. People like pizza.
Facts.
The first pizza they have, like, the chow like it, but some of the Echidnas are like, about it. But then they make, like, a better pizza that everyone loves in their restaurant. So now they have, like, the Echidnas who are, like, being cordial and everything and being nice with the chow and everything. It's very cute, very wholesome. Takal is very happy that their pizza is bringing people together. She's in the back with Chaos because Chaos is just making pizza. She hears a dish break and hears a chow crying.
Oh no.
She goes out there. She sees a broken plate, pizza on the ground, a chow crying, and there is an Echidna by the chow trying to comfort the chow. So she's like, okay, things are fine.
Thank goodness. I was going to say, if Pachacamac is up there, pizza sauce running down his beard, being like, I didn't do it.
It's funny you bring up Pachacamac because since all of the characters for these images were voted for, he was the second character voted for this. It was between him and Takal and Chaos.
That would be a very interesting duo.
Yeah, him and Chaos, I think, would have been really interesting.
I mean, if you think about it, like, Takal and Chaos kind of makes sense. There's a game association with that. But for Pachacamac, I love the idea. Instead of the Chaos Diner, Pachacamac kind of being like the warlord that he is, I'm sure a little bit self-righteous and self-centered, being like, we're not going to call it the Chaos Diner. I'm the leader here. We're going to name it after Chief Pachacamac. Pizza-camac. Pizza for you and everyone. And then Chaos just continuing to, like, slam the tomatoes into the pizza pie and spinning the pizza dough, being like, nodding his head.
Or because the tribe is the Knuckles tribe, they could call it the Knuckles Chaos Diner. Kind of like Knuckles Chaotix.
I think that needs some work. I'll let it cook though.
How it ends is kind of weird because it ends on, like, a very happy note, but then the diner and everyone in it just kind of, like, fade away into a mist. As the mist clears, it was around the altar of the Master Emerald.
Ooh.
My interpretation here is a very sad note that this is a reality that was never possible for them. Peace and unity.
Aw, dude.
For Takal and Chaos, that was just never meant to be. It was something they dreamed of, but as we know, the normal timeline never happened.
Or this is the thoughts of the Master Emerald sitting in the Master Emerald altar thinking, man, I really wish I could get some pizza. And that's where it spawned off of. And naturally it drew from Takal, whose spirit may continue to live on. Chaos is out there somewhere, I guess. Man, I wonder what a Chaos pizza would be like. Master Emerald.
Now, my question is there a little bit, since Chaos is like liquid energy, is there chaos in the pizza?
Now that I think about it.
Okay.
You need water to make pizza.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any water in this image.
Hold up a second.
Are there also potentially cannibalistic qualities here? Because Chaos is a mutated Chow, and the Chow are enjoying the pizza, which might be made from the water of Chaos himself.
Chaos.
What are the implications here?
Chaos promoting cannibalism and also promoting echidnas eat Chow because the echidnas are also eating his pizza.
It's what the Master Emerald craves.
It's what the Master Emerald wanted. Chow to be a food source.
The Master Emerald with like those condescending, downward-looking eyes, being like, "Yes, eat each other for my amusement."
Oh my god. We're moving on. We're moving on. The Veil of Darkness. So this is Silver and Elise, which I was kind of surprised to see her because we haven't seen her really since obviously Sonic 06. Except apparently she has a cameo in Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, which I have no idea where that is. So in this one, Elise is a ice skater who has some troubles. She has to perform a piece, and the song they used was written for her deceased family. So she gets teary-eyed and distracted when trying to work on this piece. Basically, a legendary coach bumps into her, Silver the Hedgehog, and he's like, I will help you out. Like, we will work on this piece and you'll perform great at the next competition. And Silver is a retired, like, competitive skater. And as they're working together, Elise is kind of confused, like, why he stepped down. And one of the apex moves of this piece is like, I believe it was like a triple axel or something. Basically, she has to like do a jump spin and make the landing. She's worked out a lot of her anxiety and depression with the piece, but during one of the practices, she's thrown off her game at this point. She's about to fall on her face, and then Silver catches her with his psychic abilities. And she's like,
makes sense.
Whoa, psychic powers, that's cool. And he's like, yeah, that's actually why I stepped down from competition. I don't want people to know I have psychic abilities like that because I could get in trouble for that.
Yeah, it's a pretty unfair advantage there's Silver.
Yeah, because again, he could literally like float and always make the landing every time.
Yeah, he could be up there doing triple, quadruple, quintuple axles or whatever. He just never comes down
as he wanted. And so like last practice before their competition, the ice skating rink they've been using is outside. And Elise is like, well, it's all raining and stuff. I can't really practice. But Silver uses his psychic ability to make a barrier around the ice skating rink so she can practice one last time before competition. Through his encouragement during practice, she aced that final move. And she's like, yeah, I think this will be great. He also gave her a little necklace thing that he had. And he was like, yeah, it's for extra luck and all that. And of course, during their competition, they nail it. It's fine. She has a new interpretation of this musical piece. So instead of being depressed that her family is gone, she is now at peace, like thinking about like all the good times she had with her family.
Aww.
Once they complete the competition, she gives him the necklace back and we kind of move on from there. A little confused why there is now a ice skating rink in the middle of Soliana.
Where is Soliana located anyway? Is it cold? Is ice skating a thing that they would do up there?
Oh, no.
I guess not.
No, because
that's what the rink would be for.
Yeah, and it's also mostly like on the water. Like there's canals and stuff.
You know, maybe this is an implication that Soliana is a city of art and expression, you know? Maybe they do have a specific like ice skating competitive culture up there. Who knows? Maybe that's the reason that everything takes place in Soliana in Sonic 06. There is an implication that every single thing that happens in Sonic 06 can be tied back to ice skating in some way.
I feel like that's almost funny because everything was there because of like the Eternal Flame, Solaris, and all that junk.
That's the irony.
I know. I like it.
The eternal flame in our hearts, kept lubricated by the constant melting of the ice that we skate upon. Not extinguished, probably. Also, this is definitely just Yuri on ice. Silver on ice. Retired coach cures the anxiety and depression of young skater. I don't know where the other release is, but
and also where's the psychic powers in Yuri on Ice?
It's a creative interpretation. It's a metaphor.
Our next act is called My Vector Man. So this is Vector and Vanilla. Vector's outfit here looks so dumb.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Like this is stereotypical silly superhero.
I mean, look at Vector's outfit. You've got the reds and the blues of Superman. He's got the little monogram with the diamond. It's Superman. And I guess a club dancer?
No. So Vanilla actually runs a restaurant. And
that makes sense.
Her daughter, Cream, has been working at Vector's detective agency and was recently fired. She goes to Vector to basically say like, hey, why was my daughter fired? And basically try to reason with him to have Cream rehired. Vector is still running his normal detective agency, except there's this legend, oh, Vector Man, because she's like, oh, well, Vector Man's like a hero. And he's like, he's a myth. He's not real. She gave Vector a lunch before she departs for the evening. Her mission unfortunately failed. On her way home, a robot attacks, a giant robot. She's about to get crushed until the illustrious Vector Man shows up, absolutely destroys this thing because he's a superhero. He's got superpowers. His stomach then growls. He loses the superpower, transformed back into normal Vector, and he collapses. To no one's surprise, Vector is actually Vector Man. Who would have thunk? Basically, he needs good, nutritious food to become Vector Man. So Vanilla makes him a deal. Keep my daughter employed, and I will give you good, nutritious meals so you can help save the city. Also, I am going to keep your secret safe. And he's like, all right, done deal. So Cream has a brand new position as basically food delivery girl. And also Vanilla basically put two and two together that Vector fired Cream because he didn't want her getting hurt. Like in case something came out that he was in fact this masked hero Vector Man.
And this all takes place within the confines of the Otherworld, right?
This is Vector and Vanilla's Otherworld.
Because a piece of me was like, how in the world does it evolve from, hey, why'd you fire my daughter, to, so there's this hero out there that I'm definitely not associated with?
Well, she was like, oh, why is your work so bad? I mean, we have Vector Man protecting the city. He's like, Vector Man, he's a myth, he's a buffoon.
Sure. I like the way that this ends, you know? Even in the peril of almost being stopped by our robot, Vanilla's like, businesswoman mind.
Yeah.
I know how we can make this work.
Exactly.
Cool, calm, and collected. And Vector on the ground, hungry.
Also, cool fun fact about this piece is Vector Man was actually the name of a game made by Sega for the Sega Mega Drive back in 1995. And his pose is a reference to Vector Man.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I didn't realize that. That's awesome. I've got the cover art right here, dude. I didn't know that.
Again, I love when they do stuff like that. That's really cool. Props to the artist.
Vector Man, by the way, is not a crocodile.
Yeah,
but
no.
He is green.
Yeah, he is green, but he is not a crocodile. Also, I love that it looks like his offhand is like punching where it says Genesis. So like the N and the E are kind of like messed up.
That's absolutely what's happening here.
I love that. I love that little fourth wall break.
It's self-aware. That's a dangerous robot.
So the next story is The True Princess. You're familiar with Romeo and Juliet, right?
One of them dies.
Yes. Actually, they both die, but you know. We start off where our protagonist in pink in their towers, like, Romeo, oh Romeo, where art thou, Romeo? And then Tails, he's like, wait a minute, what am I saying? Why am I in a dress? Why am I up here? Then Marion continues her lines if she were playing Romeo. And Tails is trying to communicate. He's like, Marion, like, what the heck is going on? Like, why are we here? Why are we reenacting Romeo and Juliet? Why are we on stage? Why is there an audience? And she's like, bro, stick to the script, dingus.
Oh my gosh.
So she basically has to improv to save their performance of Romeo and Juliet. Tails is just completely baffled. He has no idea what's going on. He collects from Marion that they are a part of a acting troupe called the Coconut Troupe. And
Nice.
Tails was basically the leader of this troupe, and Marion is just a really good actress in this troupe. He starts asking her a bunch of questions about, hey, what's going on with Sonic? Like, what's going on with Eggman? Like, and kind of starts describing some of these situations. Marion is under the impression that he's making up these extra stories, these plays, and Tails is getting frustrated because it's like, no, these aren't plays. These are real things that happened. What about like when Eggman did blank? And she's like, oh man, like this Eggman character you've cooked up? It's like, oh man, like the audience will love this. As a couple days pass, like she incorporates some of what Tails has told her into their performances, and the audience has gone absolutely bananas over it. Like they've loved it. And she's like, yeah,
Wow,
just
dude.
keep cooking this stuff up.
Meanwhile, Tails is just like, this is out of this world. This is Otherworld. I love the implication that it seems like Tails is getting his real memories back, but Marine's just like, oh no, dude, you're cooking up some good plays here. Is this how the world works in your brain? You're so creative, Tails. And Tails is like,
Tails is just like, you know what? I'm kind of done. So at one point, Tails just leaves in frustration, and backstage, he bumps into Sonic. And basically, upon conversation, they both learn it's like, oh, we have our memories. Why do we have our memories? And basically, they put some pieces together that Tails' outfit includes a yellow tiara. This tiara is a transformed Chaos Emerald.
Yo, dude.
And Sonic has something on him, I forget what it is, that is also a transformed Chaos Emerald. So basically they come to a conclusion, oh, our Chaos Emeralds retain our memories, and I guess we were in close enough proximity that it broke us free from this other world that's going on around us. Now they're like, okay, we have to find the Chaos Emeralds and get our friends together to try and get everyone's memories back.
Dude, actually, that's super interesting. Going back to the Silver on Ice Otherworld, I see a little piece of trivia here that says that in a callback to their meeting in Sonic 06, Silver gives Elise a blue Chaos Emerald that he refers to as a talisman. And that makes me think, if your exposure to the Chaos Emeralds keeps your memories back, was Silver doing this with actual memories of Elise without giving it away as a means to like relive the experience in I guess a timeline that doesn't exist anymore?
So,
because that makes it even more tragic.
That I don't entirely know, because I will say Silver did not have his memories back.
Well,
he is still fully enraptured in this other world.
I was going to say, I thought maybe Silver just, wasn't all there.
I mean, it is Silver, so.
Take this! Silver, snap out of it. Snap out of what?
So our next act, Steelheart Fusion Grand Bot Kaisers.
The SFGBK.
This is Orbot, Cubot, and Gemrel.
Isn't this just Voltron?
It is. My brain is like, this looks dumb, but at the same time, I also love it. So they live in like this bay city, and basically they are protectors. They can combine together to create the Bot Kaiser to protect it from monsters and what have you. One day, a blue creature emerges from the bay. It's like a singular red eye and blue spikes running down the back of it, looking very hedgehog-esque. Of this Bot Kaiser, Cubot controls one half and he is a shield. His face is literally the shield. Orbot is the other half and is a drill, and his head is on part of the drill. And then Gemrel is the part in the middle. His face is the core of the robot, and Gemrel ultimately controls their combined form. They go to fight this monster threatening their city. Cubot informs them that, hey, everyone's been evacuated, so we're good to fight. The monster attacks. Gemrel blocks it with Cubot's shield / face, takes severe damage, and Cubot's like, ow, I'm not having a good time, guys. They try to counterattack with Orbot's drill. It does some damage, but nothing crazy effective. And Orbot's like, okay, I'm dizzy and I've taken severe damage. This is not gonna end well. And of course, Cubot's like, after this fight, like, can we just hang out and go to the oil bar and just go ham?
Oh my god. Let's go out drinking after this.
Gemrel is trying to use logic. He's like, okay, they're both severely damaged. If I try to use either of them, there's a chance they would die. That's not good. The monster attacks again, and Gemrel decides to block it with himself. He does take severe damage, and their suit is on the verge of falling apart. They have one final attack, a all-obliterating plasma cannon that fires from Gemrel's mouth as like the chest. But the catch is it would only work if all three of them are in sync. And the problem is they're not in sync at all. As they're contemplating what options they have available, Gemrel looks over and sees a ice cream parlor. And the name Cream comes to his mind. He doesn't know anyone named Cream, but something inside him is like, I must protect this with my life.
I have a strange association for protecting that popsicle.
And Orbot and Cubot, they look over and see a insignia of what looks like a man's face with a large mustache. And they also get this urge to protect. Like Orbot being like, if I don't protect, the boss is gonna kill me. Or Cubot's like, oh, I have to do what I can to support the boss. But they all have this urge to protect. So now that they all have this same wavelength going on, they are able to fire this plasma cannon at the monster, completely obliterating it, mowing through the ocean like that anime style where it like blasts like and creates like the huge waves on the side.
Oh, yeah.
And like plows through some mountain far off in the distance.
But the town is saved.
The city
right?
is saved. And they're like, wow, that was really cool. But hey, bad news, we can't move. And then Gembrel's like, in his nonchalant, like calculating voice, he's like, all right, so oil bar, right? So they're like, yeah, oil bar, let's go.
Wow, dude. I like how their collective wavelength of we are robots, we must serve, allows them to do their all-out attack together. With the association that during that time, they're all like, if we just give it our all this one time, we can absolutely get obliterated at the bar later. And then the robots be like, yeah, when do we ever get a break? Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, oil bar, let's go. Like, hey, we just saved the city, we deserve it. And off in the distance, Sonic and Tails watch this whole thing, watch their whole battle. Tails is kind of geeking out about the robot. It's like, oh my gosh, such a cool robot. And Sonic's like, good to see that the Otherworlds did not get rid of that. And they both kind of find it weird that these three were partnered together because, again, Cubot and Orbot work for Eggman, but Gembrel doesn't. He's like one of our allies here. So they just thought that was an interesting observation, and they're like, okay, well, let's move on.
Moving on. Something about this Otherworld, like, I can't shake the voice line in my head of Orbot saying something along the lines of, my drill is the drill that will pierce the forces of evil, as he spins around worryingly.
I'm so happy I'm not the only one who thought that, because as I was reading it, I was thinking Gurren Lagann. The weird thing is, because his face is connected to the drill, he did get nauseous after they tried using the drill.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like his face is on the side of the drill.
Yeah,
like, that is a point where if you are going to get dizzy, that is the best place for dizziness.
Yeah.
As in the worst place.
I loved that one. Like the overly cartoony, like giant robot. I was like, oh, this is cute. This makes me happy.
As we're going through this, I'm wondering if you have the context on this, Lycos, because at least here on the wiki page, we only get one image of seemingly like the final scene. Were there a collection of smaller panels describing the other parts of the story?
No, there are not. We only have this one image, and then like the rest of the story is just all text. I would have loved to see like this monster robot thing that they were fighting, because obviously it was blue-quilled, hedgehog based. So that's kind of showing something's up. Something's a little weird here. But unfortunately, we don't have art for it. Our next story is the reunion with the magical princess. So this takes place at like a very upscale restaurant, like a restaurant connected to like a 5-star hotel. There is a monster in the restaurant causing a muck. This monster is made out of just like random scrap lying around, made of toys, and it's throwing tables around and just destroying the restaurant. It throws another table to try and smash it, but a glow goes around the table, and emerging is Silver in a waiter outfit.
Oh, with a blue little talisman amulet thing? Could be a Chaos Emerald, maybe?
His talisman from the previous story. And so he's like, okay, I have to fight this. I don't know what this is or how to fight it, but I will. And then as he's fighting it, fire bolts start coming in, attacking the monster. What emerges is Blaze in a maid outfit. And basically she's like, all right, waiter, back down. Let someone who's actually knows how to fight handle this. She goes like magical girl, except her maid outfit is still there. And so she's firing all kinds of fire bolts. Silver gives some smack back a bit, like, it's like, oh yeah, you're calling me a waiter? Look at you, you're a maid. Also, you don't work here. Why are you in a maid outfit? And she's like, my friend Amy picked this out for me when we went shopping. As they're fighting, they start realizing that they fight really well together, like their bodies kind of move on their own and are working really well in sync. After they're done kind of bickering, they're like, okay, every time we try and rip this monster apart, it just keeps reassembling itself. It's probably got some kind of core or something. We need to destroy the core to destroy the monster. Through their powers combined, Silver holding back its parts so it can't reassemble itself, and Blaze going full firepower onto this thing, they reveal the core, and at this thing's core is a crying Chow.
Oh.
As this Chow crawls out of the remnants of these just scattered toys and debris, during the battle there was a hole made in the floor of this restaurant, and the Chow crawls into the hole, and Silver and Blaze look into the hole and realize at the other end of this hole there is a Chow garden. And basically the restaurant blocked off access to this chow garden, and this chow just wanted to go home.
Oh.
So a few months go by with the restaurant being completely destroyed. They had to refurbish it, and this restaurant has now incorporated the chow garden into it. So that way other chow can actually still access this chow garden. It's like, hey, the restaurant's kind of back up and running again. And hey, we also have a chow garden as well.
I wonder if this is the restaurant that Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails go to in the Paramount movie.
That was
where they meet the agent who absolutely freaking,
like, I was thinking about that scene from the movie when I was reading this, because I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny. And also I was like, that's kind of sad. It was a sad story in a way, because I'm like, yeah, this chow was being destructive and monstrous because he just wanted to go home. And to explain why this monster was, it was like made up of like junked toys or just toys.
I wonder if that chow has combat experience from potentially working for or consuming the power of chaos in the form of a pizza.
So I will say, I do love Silver and Blaze in these outfits. I don't know why. In my opinion, I'm like, they look good. I like them.
Lycos really appreciates butler hedgehogs and maid catgirls.
Yeah.
No shame. This is a no judgment podcast.
Our next act is called Be Myself. This is the weirdest one by far in terms of story.
I mean, right now I'm looking at seemingly a very, very calm Omega, and that's unusual.
Yeah. Rouge looks less calm because there is like one sweat drop on her head. The story for this one is in their other world, they have these robotic flowers. I believe they are just called like battle flowers. Omega has perfected the art of making, oh my gosh, I just had the word on the tip of my tongue. Battle flower arrangements. He is absolutely wrecking Rouge every match because he is the headmaster at his battle flower dojo, and Rouge cannot get past him. Every time she tries, her flowers absolutely get mowed down. So as she walks away for the day, she's like, okay, how do I beat him? Because she is trying to beat him, not only because this is getting on her nerves now, but there are also these diamond scissors that he has that she really wants. And as she's walking away, she sees some battle flowers that are flying around, which in Omega's school, he basically wrote them off saying they were not fit for combat. But Rouge looked at them and took inspiration. So the next day when she goes to have a match against Omega, she creates a smoke screen so he can't see her forces, but all of his flowers are still firing away. She basically had some of her flowers utilize the diamond scissors defense system because it's like placed behind him and it has like these vines and other plant life protecting it. So she had her flowers steal it, bring them behind her, and the system is now protecting her flowers because they see Omega's as a threat. And basically Omega's like, hold up a sec, you use flying flowers, that's against the rules. And she's like, hey dude, yesterday you told me once a battle begins there are no rules. And he's like, touche. And she's like,
I cannot argue with that logic.
And she's like, so yes, I got these diamond scissors. And he's like, awesome, you will make a great apprentice for my school. And also, if you keep helping me out, I can tell you about the ruby scissors. And she's like, oh. Like, at first she wanted to leave, but the moment he brought that up, she's like, ruby scissors, you say?
Yeah, this one's kind of out there.
This was so out there. Like, the concept of these battle flowers was so weird, but I was kind of okay with it, actually.
I wonder if Rouge and Omega, like when the Otherworld activated, are just like in a garden somewhere. Battle flowers. I like it. And did you notice in the image too that the flower pot that the flowers are in kind of looks like a green Chaos Emerald, or maybe even the Master Emerald?
Yeah, I could see that because it has like a very similar shape and does have the green on top. Also, I have one critique about Omega's outfit. For specifically his right shoulder, it looks like that it also has his Omega insignia on it. But if that circle is just a hole and that's not actually a part of the outfit, that's incorrect because he doesn't have a front-facing Omega symbol on his right shoulder because he has an Omega symbol on the other side of that shoulder. I have Omega right here. So yeah, you can see that it's on his left shoulder, but on the back side, the one that is on the right, it's on the right shoulder on the reverse side.
I wonder if Omega just wanted symmetry.
Again, I don't know if those are
Maybe.
holes on it or if those are just or if that's actually like on the outfit itself. I'm blanking on what that's called right now, that specific style of outfit. I love that on him. I think that looks fantastic.
Another thought is, I don't know, I'm on the Omega wiki page, and his other shoulder, the one without the Omega on it, is obscured by his hand. And then the Otherworld photo, it is obscured by a flower.
But you can still
I don't know.
see it behind the flower.
I know, but I wonder if the design aspect is that other shoulder is obscured, whether or not it has an insignia behind it or not. I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit meta, but this particular Otherworld got kind of out there. So, like, maybe.
Yeah, this one was absolutely wild, but I thought it was very cool. Another detail here was where Omega would kind of keep the diamond scissors was located at a place called the Ark. Sonic and Tails, at the end, they figure out that this Ark was the origin point of this Otherworld, because this is like the highest, like one of the highest concentrations of this Otherworld energy.
Ah.
And basically they come to a conclusion. They're like, if Eggman didn't want to get affected by his own weapon, if we're here, he's on the opposite side of the world.
And off they go.
Our next story is The Little Detective and the Mafia.
Is that Big the Cat?
Yes.
Oh my god.
So Cream has been doing her own personal detective work. It's playing, but also kind of detective work. She's heard cases of missing Chow going around town, and she knows of the Don, Big the Boss. He's dressed up in his nice suit. He's been doing some shifty stuff around town. She knows he has something to do with these missing Chow. So she basically stalks him around town. She notices like he has like 2 suitcases, and she saw that at least one or both of them are filled with money. So she's like, there's a deal going down. He's in the park. She's observing him. A man walks up and exchanges another case with Big for one of those cases. They both click them open, look at the contents, close them up, and they both move on. From what Cream could observe from the case that Big got, the Don, there were guns. Well, actually, no, she didn't observe them. Cheese did, because he was at a better angle. He made like a gun-like motion. So she's like, oh, he bought guns.
From the Chow Garden Black Market?
No, we're not there yet. We're about to.
Oh, man.
As she follows Big the Boss, she's like, at the next stop, I have to catch him. We got him. They go through some back alleys. She notices him at the Chow Black Market. She sees him hand over a case to the dealer, and the dealer gives Big back a picture of a Chow. And Cream is like, oh my gosh, that's one of the missing Chow. And then he also sees him hand over a golden egg. Cream is like, okay, no, we are stopping this now. So goes and confronts them. It's basically like, you guys are under arrest for like kidnapping Chow and all of your underworld dealings. Gets on Big and is like getting ready to cuff him. Big and the black market merchant look at each other and start laughing. And Cream is like, what's so funny? And they're basically like, there's been a misunderstanding here, miss. Basically, she finds out Big the Boss is part of a big company that secretly donates a lot of toys and whatnot to the Chow kindergarten. And that picture that the black market merchant handed to Big was a picture of one of the Chow who has benefited and has been really enjoying all of their donations. Why Big is dressed up the way he is, it's Halloween. And so he was going to come into the school as like a part of one of the school events and hand off some of the extra like toys and whatnot to the Chow in the kindergarten. You look really confused.
I'm listening to all these details and I'm taking them all in. And a piece of me is trying to tie this back to Big the Cat committing tax fraud. But now I think the bigger issue is the association of Big the Cat walking into a Chow kindergarten with a freaking trench coat, I assume filled to the brim with Chow toys. Please go on. I will delay my judgments until the end of the Otherworld.
As she's kind of like, oh, there's a big misunderstanding. A green robot robot with a trash can like head zooms by them with a chow in hand. Oh snap, that's the kidnapper. So
It's Zero.
Yeah, you got it. Cream is able to knock him down. His head kind of pops open, and when his head pops open, revealing the fragile circuitry, Big destroys it. And they also find out that Zero was going to bring this chow to a warehouse. And when they go to investigate, they find a warehouse filled with the kidnapped chow. So they call the appropriate authorities to get all of the chow released. Cream really likes Big the boss, essentially asks him if she could help him in some of his missions about donating toys and everything.
Dude, I was on the edge of my bar this whole time, dude.
This was a really funny one to me, especially because in one of our previous episodes, we joked about Cream being a mafia boss. So the fact that it's like Cream is a detective digging into Big the boss, the Don. I'm like, okay, this is too funny. And what a crazy coincidence.
I can honestly see a lot of associations between that wild theory of the underground circumventions of Big in the local economy. You got the Chow Garden involved, you got Cream involved, you've got the underground exchange of not necessarily fungible tokens, goods, the bartering system. I don't know. I see more signs.
Also, I kind of love the mental image of like Big with a gun. He would need a really big pistol for him to use it.
Yeah, wait, okay, hold up.
His hands are huge.
What was this gun motion that he was making to it, the other guy?
Well, that was Cheese's motion trying to tell Cream what was in the case. I believe it was just Cheese misinterpreted what they saw.
Unreliable narrator. Gosh, Cheese. Not quite the Sherlock you make yourself out to be. I imagine that hand signals for Cheese doesn't work super well anyways. I don't believe they've got fingers.
Because, yeah, he's got nubs and that's it.
Little mitten hands.
And Sonic and Tails are actually in the Mystic Ruins at Tails' lab specifically. They have a radar to track this otherworld energy and are basically getting ready to go confront Eggman. They're like, okay, we think we know where he is. We're gonna go get to him. So we go on to our second to last story, an unforgettable rival, where we got Knuckles and Sonic. What's up, Cameron?
Oh, I'm just waiting for the association of why Sonic is in a jester outfit.
Knuckles is in this ring. Omochao is a referee, and Knuckles is this undefeatable champion. On the championship belt, there is a red gem in the center. He's like, oh, is there no one who can fight me? So Sonic's like, hey, Tails, watch this. I'm gonna have some fun. He gets onto the ring. He's in this jester outfit, and he's like, oh, I'll be your challenger. I can beat you easily. Check this out. He starts like juggling and stuff. He's messing around, taunting Knuckles, and the crowd is actually kind of into it. Knuckles notices that some of the crowd are now cheering for Sonic, and Knuckles is like, all right, you've annoyed me, and you're trying to take my crowd. Nah, get in this ring. Sonic gets in the ring. They're duking it out. Sonic trying to be fast. Knuckles actually throwing some really smart moves, throwing some blocks that Sonic did not see coming. The crowd is going wild. Now it's like a full 50-50, like Sonic, Sonic, Knuckles, Knuckles. Essentially, they knock each other out at the same time. And Omochao starts doing the count, and Tails is like, oh, this don't look good. And also, my little energy radar is going off the hook. What is going on? They do both get up, but Knuckles is the one who says the first word. I believe it's at this point. Knuckles is kind of like, what's going on here? Why are we in this ring? Why are we doing this? And so, we're trying to find Eggman. He's like, oh yeah, that's the thing I wanted to tell you, Sonic. He punches a hole in the bottom of the ring that reveals what looks to be an entrance to an Eggman base.
Oh, whack.
Tails is like, oh, that's the source of this otherworld energy. So the three of them descend into this hole to find the source of otherworld energy. And as they're kind of going down, Knuckles and Sonic are both like, it's like, oh yeah, I would have won. It's like, no, I would have won. All right, fine. Rematch later.
Classic rivalry.
Classic. As they descend, they go into this wide mechanical cavern, and in the center is this giant pillar, and all of this otherworld energy is going to the top. Like, this is visible energy. And they look at it and they're seeing fragmented images of these other worlds. So essentially, Knuckles kind of breaks the base of this tower to release this otherworld energy. They hear a familiar laugh and was like, oh, did you have fun? Like, I'm surprised you're here. And of course, is Eggman. And this goes into the final act. Tails kind of figures out that Eggman has been collecting this energy to use for some kind of weapon. And Eggman creates this plant creature thing with this tower kind of sticking out of the back of it. He's like, yeah, I can make these worlds with this energy. Like, I can do whatever I want, to the point where he creates this egg field, I think is what it's called, that encaptures the crew in terms of terrain. He transforms it into flooded Station Square, starts trying to flood their minds with false truths, like he had full control of chaos and took over the world. He successfully used the power of the Zeti and was successful in powering that weapon. Basically, like, all of his evil schemes from like the previous games actually came to fruition, because essentially what his plan was and what's going on here is, with this otherworld energy, change the entire world's perspective and changes the entire history of it. So the world and everyone in it, essentially he floods it with something like, I won and took over the world, and it essentially would become true.
This is giving me vibes of Super Genesis Wave, rewriting reality and all that.
Yeah, kinda. And as Knuckles, Tails, and Sonic are on the ground, again, with their minds getting bombarded of these false truths, that, as we've seen with how the other world works, like, it's believable. Like, without the effect of the Chaos Emeralds, they do believe these truths. Like, this is their world. There's some extra shots thrown at this monster. The rest of the crew kind of shows up. So you have not everyone, but everyone who had an emerald. So we had Silver, Blaze with theirs, Shadow, who he had a microphone and the Chaos Emerald was the microphone. The extra icing on the cake, a large, powerful plasma beam from nowhere nearby hits this monster.
Oh my gosh. It was from Voltron.
It was from Bot Kaiser, because Gemerald saw this high concentration of energy and was just like, high concentration of energy. I'm going to classify this as an enemy. And Cubot and Orbot agreed. So they fired, not knowing what it was. At that point, Gemerald's like, all right, oil bar it is. Let's go. Sonic is surprised that Shadow's there and so cool just handing it over. He's like, that's kind of out of character for you. And then realizes somehow Shadow was injured. So with all of the Chaos Emeralds, Sonic becomes supersonic. And Eggman's like, he's like, oh, that's BS, but okay, I can still crush you. And this monster and Eggman kind of become this wonderful thing that is Super Eggman from this last image here. Full send. I love this Super Eggman. I kind of wish this was real.
I mean, it's real in a sense that it happened, sorta.
Well, it's not even Super Eggman, because it's not like a Chaos Emerald transformation. It's the Phantom Ruby and all the energy it's absorbed.
That's super enough for Egg Boy. I'll let him have it. Yeah, this is cool looking.
Yeah, no, this is a really cool art. Supersonic and I'm just gonna call it Super Eggman start clashing. Surprisingly, although it is nothing to do with the Chaos Emerald, Eggman is going toe to toe with Supersonic. As they're fighting, he's like, oh, hey, check this out. A perfect chaos emerges from the water of the flooded Station Square and fires a beam at Sonic.
Oh my god.
And he's like, okay, that's not good. And Eggman's like, you don't stand a chance, and starts turning all of these flooded, destroyed buildings into perfect chaos. So Sonic is surrounded by like 6 or 7 of them. And they
get a load of this, indeed.
Get a load of this. They all fire their beams at Supersonic. Eggman's like, ha! Got him. But Supersonic is totally fine. He's like, what? And Supersonic's like, lol, these are fake. They don't work on me. And so literally he has one of the Chaoses fire a beam again, and it just does nothing, because the Chaos Emeralds basically can completely mitigate the power of the Phantom Ruby. So he can't be fooled or affected by these false interpretations. So Eggman's like, all right, I'm a bounce. So Sonic pursues, and Eggman starts literally lobbing other worlds at Supersonic, and Supersonic is just flying through them, shattering them. With the power of the Chaos Emeralds, he's completely unaffected, setting it to this correct interpretation. Like, at the end of this chase, Eggman's like, okay, hey, you got me, but hear me out. Was what I did really that wrong? These worlds weren't necessarily bad. And Sonic kind of like stops, actually. It's like, he's kind of got a point. And then Tails is like, hey, Sonic, I just found this out. With these other worlds, over time, they were going to become what Eggman wanted. So I'm assuming, like, over time, as these characters run this world, it would promote more like Eggman propaganda and this thing of like, oh, Eggman won, he's the ruler of the world. Eggman's like, oh, shut up, you stupid fox. It's like, oh, Sonic, here, I have a perfect world just for you. And it's Green Hill Zone, a nice peaceful Green Hill Zone. And as Sonic like takes a closer look, he notices that like some of the mountains are chili dogs and like the ocean is chili dogs.
Oh my gosh.
And he's just like, bruh, really? And Eggman tries to throw like a sucker punch. It doesn't really work. And Supersonic essentially defeats Eggman. With Eggman defeated, all of these other worlds start dissipating. Sonic and friends, they're like, hey, we've won. But it's like, these other worlds aren't gone yet. They're probably going to dissipate in a few days. So let's celebrate. They all go to the Chaos Restaurant. Everyone is there. So a lot of them are like just sharing like what they experienced. Some of them are comparing memories. Shadow, Omega, and Rouge are like, oh yeah, so what was yours like? And they're like, oh, it was this. And Rouge making a comment of like, it's like, yeah, this guy, he still needed to tell me where the Topaz scissors were, because apparently there were a pair of Topaz scissors.
Warp Topaz, perhaps? Phantom Ruby scissors, perhaps?
Vector Man is there as well. It's like, how are you so strong? And he's like, you just eat right. Everyone is enjoying themselves. Orbot, Cuba, and Gamera are here. Several cans of oil in. Orbot and Cuba are like, dude, the boss is gonna be so pissed. Whatever.
Where even is the boss man at this point?
At one point, like, Vector Man gets up to do something, and he notices that he's pseudo-transparent and fading into light. And they're like, yo, Tails, thought you said this was gonna last like a few days. And Vector's like, whatever, it is what it is. And he's like, all right, peace. And he dissipates. And they notice the same kind of like transparency is starting to affect the entire restaurant.
Oh, as it slowly fades away.
Takal is even like, where will we go? And Sonic essentially kind of tells her, it's like, well, you're not gonna be like erased. You're still gonna be here. And basically like brings a smile to her face before her chaos and the restaurant dissipate. So that is basically the end there, but we do have a bit of an epilogue where Eggman has retreated to some far end bottom base, like near some lava. He does have one more copy of the Phantom Ruby, horribly damaged, like it doesn't have a lot of energy, but he's like, yes, I can use this. But then it gets swiped out of his hands, and Infinite standing over the lava holding this thing. And he's like, with this, I will be powerful. I will be unstoppable.
Sit down, Infinite.
And he looks at himself and he's like, all I have to do is just plop this back where the one I had was. But he has this moment of hesitation. Do I really want to do that? And in this moment of hesitation, he starts fading out. The Phantom Ruby copy falls through his now fading hand into the lava. And so he just kind of starts laughing to himself and just dissipates.
I know it's called the Otherworld comedy, but it also feels a little Otherworld tragedy.
Of these other worlds, which one is your favorite?
I don't know, man. Like, we started with love, we found our way to good food and shady activities, and it devolved into, there were some sad moments here or there, especially at the end when everything was fading. I want to say that my best reality was Chaos Pizza, but I gotta say, Big in a Trench Coat is a close second.
Of these other worlds, and not only am I including the art, but I'm also including their stories as well, my favorite is also the Chaos Restaurant, because it's not only just the art being so wholesome and everything, but it's tragic. As I said previously, it was that world that was almost too good for them, never meant to be. They didn't get this peace and unity. They got destruction and death.
I mean, at least they got a piece of something. Piece of pizza.
Yep, of their 7-berry pizza, which obviously in reference to the 7 Chaos Emeralds or just the 7 Chaos from To Call's Prayer.
I call upon the 7 pepperoni.
The red berries.
Oh, excuse me. The 7 berry.
And I will apologize. I kind of butchered some of this and I may have missed details here and there. If you want to read the Otherworld comedies for yourself, there are links to where their translations are on the Sonic Wiki. And again, these are a great read. I loved all of these. I know none of this is canon, but these were still really good.
I honestly enjoyed a lot of this. And I know originally looking at the Otherworlds page, all I saw were little summaries and little pictures. I didn't realize that there were this much detail for each of the worlds. It almost feels like this calendar was in and of itself an entire comic arc. And that was really cool.
I loved the stories, and again, the artwork is fantastic.
And now I really want to buy one of these calendars.
It's a shame that these are unofficial translations because they never were released in English.
At least we got a piece of it.
Yeah.
We also got our piece of Otherworld pizza.
God, man, now I'm in the mood for pizza.
Yo, Lycos, you want to go to the pizza bar after this?
Heck yeah, I'll go to the pizza bar.
Well, too bad for you.
Oh.
Because it's a fabrication by the Phantom movie.
Aren't we
That's
all?
tragedy.